Okay, there we go. Good morning, everybody. It is James Jimmy Hills. I'm the host of Java with Jimmy. And yes, I forgot.
Good morning. Welcome to the Java Cafe.
It is Monday, April 8th, 2024. And can you believe within a week, we're going to be back with the Boston Marathon. Spring is really here. The year is going by quickly for us old heads. Y2K was just yesterday. I don't know why I'm thinking about that, but we're here this morning. And I find it most apropos to be able to talk with some women this morning who are a part of the National Women's Soccer League / Boston. They are part of the ownership, and there are other owners that are part of the ownership of that league that is coming to Boston. And not really engulfed, but I did see a lot of things on social media just about some of the commentary and inequities that made me really think, and the timing of them coming on today, I think is just very good to talk about equity in women's sports and their investments and things that they are doing to raise the importance of our young women, our middle-aged and other women, all that are participating in sports. And so let me just get this phone off. And so we're getting ready to bring in my guest this morning, two are owners of the National Women's Soccer League Boston, and one is also, I asked in the pre-convo, I said, what is your role? I didn't have the roles in front of me. And she said, oh no, I'm a fan. And so we're excited. We're actually going to bring her in first as a fan. I'm sure our owners don't mind. We have Anna Edston, if I got it right. Saying names right is important. We have also Jennifer Epstein as well. And also, now listen, let me tell y'all about Miss Mary. She came on screen and I instantly got an attitude because her set, I'm just looking. Anyway, we'll stay focused. But Mary, Jennifer, and Anna, welcome to the Java Cafe. I'm so glad to have all three of you here and to be able to speak with you about what's going on in women's sports. I know, and this is our authentic space, I know White Stadium is a very interesting topic right now. We'll talk about what you guys are doing to hear from the community. I am I just want to say that, thank you for supporting this Black-owned business. Part of what they're doing will be advertising very soon, some of their listening sessions. So I don't want to get too far ahead. But what I'd like to do is to start with Anna and just ask you to introduce yourself. You say that you're a fan of soccer and this team coming and whatnot. So just give some context as your relationship to this. And then we'll go ahead and hear from Jennifer and the wonderful podcaster, Mary, as well. You're going to hear references to that all through the show, but go ahead. Anna, welcome.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having us. This is a great conversation to be having right now. My name is Anna Eston. I'm a Jamaica Plain resident and a lifelong soccer and sports fan. And so I am just absolutely thrilled to be here to support the efforts that Jennifer and the rest of the ownership team are undergoing to bring a women's sports team to Boston. I am still a soccer player. I play in an adult league in Dorchester during the week, and I spend a lot of my time watching sports and especially soccer. And I think it's so important to bring these role models and amazing athletes to our local community. I think Boston is one of the greatest sports cities in the world. And the fact that we don't have a professional women's team in the city right now is a huge chasm that we really need to fill. So I'm just so excited. And I think that, the benefits that I'm sure Jennifer will talk about to renovating White Stadium and creating a new resource for our Boston Public Schools kids as well is just a huge bonus as part of this project. So I couldn't be more thrilled to be here as a fan and a community member.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And Jennifer, please introduce yourself and say good morning, state your role, with the NWSL Boston league or team that's a part of the league. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Hi, James. Thanks for having us. We're really grateful for this opportunity. And I just wanted to start out that, I'm aware and super impressed by the work that you do on your show to lift up issues of public health. And if we go further down in the conversation, I'm going to speak about this annual fund that will establish as part of our agreement with the city. And one of the pillars, that we want to direct funds to our team again is to public health and wellness. So just wanted to acknowledge that. Thanks for having me. It is great to start actually my birthday this morning here on the show with you.
Happy birthday.
Wait, Mary, hold on. We're going to come to you with your wonderful sounding Shure mic. So wait a minute. No one in the getting ready for this, preparing an advertisement, seeing little emails, no one mentioned that today was your birthday.
See, my coffee cup that my husband brought me says "Happy Birthday, Jen" that he wrote on it. But thank you. And yes, I am the lead owner of an all-female managed ownership group. There are men in the ownership group, but I am the lead owner for NWSL Boston. We will be bringing Boston its newest professional sports team, a professional women's soccer team. We will be Team 15 in the National Women's Soccer League, and we will begin play in 2026.
I am looking forward to hearing more from you. And thank you so much for the acknowledgement. And we'll talk more about the fun. I am aware of that as well. And so, Mary, say goodbye. Say goodbye and greet the people.
Thank you so much for having me. And it is because of Jennifer that I'm here this morning. I am the founder of Women X. We educate, elevate, and empower women. And I am just recently partnered with Jennifer on our watch party that we did in Boston at Cosmica Boston. And we had a great turnout. We do work in the space of women's sports because part of what we do is we shine a light on women's contributions, and women have been playing sports since they were invented, and we just haven't been out watching them. And so I'm really excited to elevate their stories, really dig into the history, know the women's shoulders that we're standing on, and then really document what women are doing today. And that was one of the reasons why we had a watch party, is to bring community together around the amazing contributions women are making and the opportunities that Jennifer and her team are providing for these athletes and for fans in our community to come together. And women's sports is for everyone. It is not just for women fans.
That is so interesting. And you sort of negated to tell us the reason why you have this wonderful mic podcast setup and sound. Just Jennifer and Anna, you sound great as well, but just as a podcaster, you can hear the Shure, but share that also as well. Is that part of the Women X as well?
Yes, during the pandemic, we really wanted to bring together women doctors, experts that looked like us, that looked like a diverse group of people. So we decided to bring our skills together, curate conversation around the inequities in COVID-19, and really educate women from women who look like us. And so that really launched our series podcast called Women X on the Front Lines.
Okay. You kind of shut me down with being shady, talking about, equities, and so many women are doing so many great things in so many spaces, including, as Jennifer mentioned, public health and medicine and behavioral health. And so, Jennifer, in this segment, we'll start with you. You said you are the lead owner for NWS. Can we just say NWSL Boston? Or I don't know. Is there a name for the team?
Well, that's why you're saying NWSL Boston right now, because we have not announced a team name yet. But you can look forward. We're in the midst of figuring it out. We're actually in the midst of our branding process and are looking forward to making an exciting announcement sometime this summer. So I apologize that it's a little awkward and clunky, but
You're good.
That's who we are right now, NWSL Boston.
Okay. And so being the lead investor, lead owner, as Mary said, women's sports is for everyone. What made you go this way in investing? And I have to say, Anna, in thinking about one of your statements, You mentioned that there are no major sports teams, women sports teams in Greater Boston or the Boston area. And so, Jennifer, why? Why are you going this way?
Well, I like to think about it as this is sort of the beginning of the modern era for women's sports. I mean, women's sports have been around, of course, and the product has always been exceptional. But women's sports have just not been getting the investment and the resources and the attention that they deserve. And actually, I thank you for highlighting women's sports today, because one of the major ways that women's sports will advance will be when the media continues to promote and cover women's sports in the same way that they cover men's sports. So, what we can see right now in the women's NCAA championship that we just concluded, that the reach and visibility of women's sports is off the charts. I mean, I don't know actually from yesterday what the exact viewership was, but the Iowa UConn game, 14.2 million viewers on ESPN, making it the most viewed women's basketball game on record and the largest audience for an ESPN basketball broadcast ever. So that is really remarkable. In the NWSL, we've seen the last 2 seasons that we have broken attendance records, and this year marks the first year in a new media deal where that represents a 40 times higher multiple for the league than their previous deal. And so you will begin to be able to see the games on TV, which will certainly help the league a lot. The games will be able to be viewed on ESPN, CBS Sports, Amazon Prime, and Scripps Ion. So there'll be a substantial number increase in the number of games you can see on TV and on national telecast as well.
Got you. And so, Mary, I'll continue with you. You mentioned the podcast. We have, I'm trying to be a little shady, but we have the same commonality of starting something during COVID. And so, in the space that you move, and I have to be honest with you all, most of the sport, I'm not I'm not a commentator when it comes to places of sports, but I can tell you the number 4 top 4 people that discuss sports in the Java Cafe are Charlotte James, Heidi Lewis Ivy, Brandy Brooks, and Teresa Minus Santana. And so I wanted to figure out a way how to, get them together and get a cadence to where they can, we can have constant commentary about, what's going on in sports. And so, Mary, why is it so important going this way? And we're going to come back to you in a second, but the coverage that Jennifer is mentioning and this, here coming to Boston, what are your thoughts?
Well, I think it's just about time. 50 years ago, over 50 years, Title IX was passed, right? And that led to 4 years later, 1978, the WBL started, the first women's professional basketball league. There were 8 until the WNBA. And really playing at the college level, you needed the 50 years to build up the talent base for professional teams. And now is the time to invest. You have talent that need opportunity to play. You have sports is a microcosm of society. It brings us together. What better way? And as Jennifer said, you need to invest. And it's not going to happen overnight. People want this hockey stick growth. It's not a hockey stick growth. It is going to take time and investment and great people like Jennifer and her team to really commit to a community, because it's not just about the team, it's about the community.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And one of the things that one of the thoughts I had when you were talking, investments are important. And you talk about creating this sort of pool of young talent that's coming up. Well, one of the best ways that young people can be steered in this way and to tap into their talent is for young women to see other women doing. We have the Serenas and we have oh God, I'm old. I'm going back to the controversy with the ice skating back in the day. We have all of them as an example, but the more that they see them, and I will just say, y'all know this is an authentic space. when you talk about, Mary, you were saying, folks that look like us and whatnot. I will just name, it's obvious. We have 3 white women here who are talking about that. And Jennifer, in a couple of seconds, you can talk in, a little bit of a breakdown of the ownership. And so, Anna, based on what both Jennifer and Mary said, they are investors. You are a fan. How important is it to be seen, and what's going on in the movement and the investment that is being made here? How important is that to you as a woman?
It's so important to me as a woman. As I mentioned, I'm a lifelong athlete, and I learned a lot in school growing up, but I learned everything about being an actual person from playing sports. I learned about teamwork, I learned about hard work, I learned about resilience, I learned about, how to lose and how to win. And so I think my real education about, how to be a person in society came from playing on teams my entire life. And so being able to see, professional women playing sports in my community is so exciting to me. When I was growing up, the first iteration of professional women's soccer was playing. That was a league that folded in 2003. And I used to go to games at a local college near where I grew up in a tiny little stadium. And I watched that league fail. And as a, 12-year-old girl, that was really hard to think that these women were playing hard and working hard. And the current iteration of the league, the NWSL, is just, a rocket ship, for lack of a better term. As Jennifer mentioned, the new media rights deal, it's growing every year. More and more people are watching. It's becoming more accessible, which is bringing more people in. And I think for me, the narrative around women's sports used to be that investing in women's sports is the right thing to do because, women can do anything and it's about equality. And there's some truth to that. But now women's sports is a good investment, full stop. We're seeing this growth. We mentioned March Madness. People want to watch these women play. And there's, money that comes with that and investment that comes with that.
So the equity is there too, but there's also the economics as well. And so, as I mentioned before, this is an authentic space, and I'm going to try to tie this all together. And so there is, some resistance. My good friend and brother, Domingo De Rosa, is in the room saying, some, not all, community members spoke up at the last meeting, expressed their concerns and don't want this. And so there is, that side of it. And so, Jennifer, let's have this conversation. Now, there is what you're doing with community engagement, and then there's, what the city's doing. 2 total different tracks where I'm sure there is some parallel, let that happen. One of the things that came up when we talk about equity and economics was that one of the things that 2 things that stood out to me was, one, there is a commitment to 50% vending and contracting with MBE type businesses, I'm going to mess it up, but women of color, BIPOC, LGBTQ. And one of the questions that came up was, there is the percentage, but then what is the intentionality and commitment to a dollar amount? So, for example, you can give out 50% of snacks and a combo of cleaning and also security, and that could be 50% of the contracts in vending. Averages between them, I don't know, $300,000, just numbers off the top of my head. And then you got the other 50% that may get contracts for food and kiosk and things like that there. What is the intentionality of money and economics and equity as we've been talking about versus percentage? Where does that intentionality there for women owned, Black owned, LGBTQ, the whole gamut of this equity piece?
Well, that's an excellent question and a really important question. And, I will say that me and we'll start with my 3 co-founders, Amy Kwandanoff, Stephanie Connaughton, Anna Palmer. Just want to mention their names. They've been instrumental in this venture. But when we went down this path, the 3 of us came together. We had a similar thesis in some of our investment ideas, and we believe in the power of female-led and diverse leadership teams. A conviction towards supporting ventures that promote equity, and that, of course, translates to equity in sports. So when we thought about where we could establish our home pitch for this team, this we thought about how can our team not just bring world-class female athletes to Boston, which of course there's an equitable component there. We live in this championship sports town, and we need a championship women's team. I think you already referenced the idea of if you can't see it, you can't be it. So this is important to have world-class female athletes, role models right in this area of the city. How exciting is that? But when we thought about, our team will have 20 home game days, how can our team have impact 365 days of the year? And this idea about this model, it's a very unique and I think first of its kind model in professional sports, that we will be sharing a stadium with the students of the Boston Public Schools. Sharing actually might be really an exaggerated term, because we will be there less than 10% of the time. And actually the students of the Boston Public Schools, their use of the stadium will more than triple. But we also thought very hard about how can the both community and economic benefits that flow from this project most directly impact the neighborhoods around the stadium. So we made a 50%, a commitment for 50% WMBE with a focus towards local as well. I also, our commitment to diversity started with our ownership group. I think I just want to, I'm proud to mention that we are not just a diverse female managed ownership group, but 40% of the invested capital was invested or controlled by investors of color, and 95% invested and controlled by women. So, between now and 2026, we are going to work, ourselves and with supplier diversity consultants to meet that target. I can report that we have already met that target in our first design phase, our architectural. So it's not just about, you ask for vendor contracts. It's at every level of this organization, all along, from the planning to the operation to the employees. This is how we're trying to target meeting this 50% commitment. I can, in addition to meeting it, for our design phase through our architectural and engineering consultants, I think actually part of the way that we were introduced to you today was through the Davis system. We're working with the Davis system, a minority-owned business. Gail Jackson of Jackson Communications is helping us in addition on the communications front. So we're thinking of how we can bring in, local and community businesses, every step of the way.
I'll just chime in and say, I want to, Anna has to actually leave in a couple of seconds. And so as a fan, I hope our investors don't mind if we close this segment with her. And so, let's keep it 100. In advertisement, there is also another Black-owned business being supported as you all get ready to get the flyers and stuff. And it's for there is. So let me back up a little bit. And there was, Jennifer, there was a whole lot of information there. And again, as I mentioned, I respond off the energy. And Mary, I promise I'm coming. Anna, I promise I'm coming. We'll come back in a second to just looking at little breakdown in certain areas there. But Anna, based on what Jennifer just said, your purview as being a woman, presumably as an ally of the Black community and Black women and women, what you're hearing from Jennifer, that economic impact, you are aware that some people aren't in support. As the resident here, what is your perspective? Let's say you're in Jamaica Plain, not as in close proximity to White Stadium, before folks start fussing at me or whatever. Your impression based on what you've heard thus far with that lens of economic equity for women and Black and brown owned businesses, and also local.
Absolutely. And I think I come to this conversation as a soccer fan first, but also as a community member. I live about a half mile from White Stadium. And so I've been attending a number of the community meetings that the city and the team have been holding to, both educate folks about the project and also gather feedback on the plans. And I think my impression of the conversation is that the more my community learns about this project, the more excited they're getting. And I think as these details are coming to light about supporting, local, minority and women-owned businesses, and creating opportunities for our BPS students to have more stadium access, and also for the community to have more stadium access. I think that it's just such a benefit to the community that I live in. I will occasionally go for a run around in Franklin Park, and the stadium is just not in a great state. It's an eyesore when it should be a jewel of the park. And so I'm really excited about this investment in the community. I'm so thrilled to hear from the owners that they are so focused on making sure that the considerable amount of investment that's going into this is benefiting not only women-owned and minority-owned businesses, but local businesses, because I think it's easy to sort of check the box with somebody who's not actually part of this community. And I think making sure that this is a really community driven project is critical.
Anna, thank you so much. And I don't want to have you be late. It's 9:30 on the dot. Thank you so much for spending time with us this morning. Godspeed in all you do. Be careful out there in sports and whatnot. I'm messing with two ribs right here. But thank you so much for being here, and we'll chat soon.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks, you.
Anna.
And so, Mary, let me ask you this. Based on what you've heard, there's, comments, most in support, and a couple that are not in support of the whole white stadium thing. Again, clear line of delineation. There is NWSL Boston's process of community engagement, and then the city, which is around the basic city services, transportation, and things like that. And so based on what you heard, what Jennifer saying about the intentionality, what Anna responded to, you being a woman, and then again, presumably an ally of Black women, minority-owned businesses, what are your thoughts around the intentionality?
Yeah, so I just want to clarify, we're not an owner of the NWSL
Okay,
Boston.
all right, sorry.
We are partnering with Jennifer.
Thank you.
And to me, it's education. Once you provide what Anna was saying about educating the community, what Jennifer was saying about the intentionality, education and transparency can build trust. And that takes time. It doesn't, again, these things don't happen overnight. And so I think what Jennifer and her team are doing is getting out there, educating them about their plans, and talking to them, getting feedback, and really listening and being transparent about what they're doing. And that will build trust. And over time, they're launching 2026. I'm hopeful. And I think, as I said, sports brings community together. Sports and music. It's the best.
Food. Hold on. Food.
Yes. I'm Italian, so of course.
I have some Italian heritage. So yeah, absolutely. And along with the Black community, all communities,
yes,
is a part of that. But there are some that there's just a little extra different type of I'll say flavor profile in our getting together with food. And so we are coming up on time. Mary, thank you for the clarity. And so Jennifer, if I could be very honest with you, I'm sure you're aware that, and this was a comment made in the Black Men and Boys Commission meeting the other night, that the Black community has, quote unquote, been sung this song before about commitment to this and percentages of that and whatnot. And so what is it that you are committing to leaving today, where those that are watching that may be in strong favor, but still have concerns about the equity around economics? You can't really speak to a lot of the basic city service, City of Boston stuff, but that sticking piece of intentional equity in economics to the assurity that we're not going to deal with. There is an example of another playground in the city that was taken over by an entity. And in the beginning, it was going to be this, going to be that. And it didn't work out the way the community needed it to. And so what is the assurity that you can give community, to the transparency, to the authenticity? And Mary, thank you for raising that it is going to take time. And in that you're raising, what I'm saying is there's some valid historical concern with wanting to ensure that there's going to be commitment made for the economic equity, and also the least, again, city leads that, but least disruptive of everyday life of those in vicinity, proximity of White Stadium. I know that was a lot and long, but
that was it. You referenced it. I gave you a lot of information before. You just brought up a lot of different points, so I'm going to try to. but I appreciate that, because this is a complex and substantial project. So there are a lot of there are a lot of concerns, and we need to be thoughtful, and we need to gain trust. We need to spend a lot of time doing that. We need to listen in order for this project to be successful. So you're right. It's not just me saying that we're going to make the commitment, but how are we going to hold ourselves accountable? And we will do that publicly, and make, there will be full transparency. We have started to implement that on our website, NWSL Boston, and we're early on, but we are figuring out the systems to make sure that we are held accountable to these commitments. There is a deep community engagement process that has begun. There have been over 60 meetings, and one-on-one conversations in addition, and public meetings. But this process is still in the beginning, and it needs to continue well beyond the planning phase. So, we are making an investment to be a good neighbor for the long term. So we are planning now, but we are going to invest this money in White Stadium, and it will stay with this treasured community asset, this revitalized community asset, for the duration. And then actually, as a maintenance partner, we will help make sure that this large investment that we are making, and that the city is making, that this stadium, will be maintained. But I can say from a lot of these conversations, some are difficult, because I can appreciate the passion of the communities that live around the park, but every one of these conversations is making this project better. So I look forward to continuing to spend time, and have these conversations. So, we can do something really exceptional for the students of the Boston Public Schools, for the neighborhoods around Franklin Park, for park goers. I mean, just activating and revitalizing and turning White Stadium, and for generations to come into, the treasure that it should be. That is what we're all working really hard to do right now with this project.
Domingo, thank you. I had made reference to an example of where things didn't work out the way the community wanted to. So a couple of things I wanted to say before I let you go.
Actually, since you asked me so many questions, I just want to, if Carter Playground, that is, I hear that, and I think the thing also I just want to make sure people understand is that we are not taking over White Stadium. We will be there less than 10% of the time. So all of the community activities, the large public community festivals, they will have priority in scheduling. BPS games, stay at the top. So I didn't want to let that go by without referencing that, this is not a repeat of that, but I do very much appreciate that concern. It's a real one. I hear it.
And so, Jennifer, thank you for addressing that when you saw that. Mary, I'm probably going to let you go in a couple of seconds and let you close out with the statement as well. One of the things I wanted to say that Asia brought up, and this was stated in the presentation the other night, and Jennifer, you can speak to it or just nod your head and say yes, but is this commitment written in any policy? Julie Mejia, City Council President, Ruth C. Lugian at large. And so one of the things that was stated to us in the presentation was, oh, there's a lease. And so that is how, where there's some level of a surety, there is a lease that would take place between NWSL Boston. Presumably, I may have some of the dynamics wrong, but there's a lease process, Asia, to talk about it in writing. And then my last point, Jennifer, is to mention to you is that a few weeks ago, I had the honor of being on a press conference with Mayor Wu, Congresswoman Presley, and some of the federal delegation, and they were talking, and this, again, not your area, but this plays a role into, the transportation thing. They were talking about the Blue Hill Avenue renovations that are coming up. And I was going to say Russell Simmons, Lord have mercy. Russell Holmes, State Representative Russell Holmes, Mary, don't laugh at me, said that our good, and this is my brother, so I'm going to say this, our Domingos and our others are needed. And thank you for raising that, folks that are asking the hard questions that are, what about this and what about that? As you just said, maybe not verbatim, it makes the project better. And so for that engagement, Domingo, keep coming out. As again, I wanted to state, thank you. We're getting ready to go into an advertisement partnership. They're supporting this Black-owned media outlet and we're just helping get them the information out, because often people say, I didn't know. And so at least everybody that's tuning in here and following me, and all about 18,000 of y'all, 95% local, they're paying to help advertise the community engagement meeting stuff to come out. So one, Jennifer and the team and whoever's doing that, thank you for that. Mary, close out statements. I'm tired.
Thank you for having me.
That's it. You're not going to do it.
No, we have a lot of great things to look forward to. And I think it's exciting. People are investing, like Jennifer and her team. Boston is a community of sports fans. I was a part of filling TD Garden for the Women's Bean Pot. Last year, there were only 1,600 attendees at the Bean Pot that was at Boston College. And TD Garden, 10,663 attendees. So it is a place where there are fans ready to show up for women's sports. And I'm so excited for what the NWSL Boston team is doing, what Jennifer is doing to invest in the community. Thank you so much for having me today.
Mary, thank you. And one of my indicators of a good interview is me being tired at the end of the interview. And so, Jennifer, this was good. Thank you all so much. I look forward to, and again, I don't know if you know, but the Davis system also supports me and handles some operations. So as soon as you get that stuff to them, once you have the flyers and stuff ready, we'll work that out. And getting the information out to the community about your community engagement efforts. I think we covered everything as much as we can. So again, I'm tired. All right. Thank you both, and Anna as well, for being here today. I'm going to go pay some bills, and I maybe at some point we'll talk again soon as things progress. And Mary, you better do it. You better do it up over there. Thank you both so much for being with us this morning.
Thanks so much for having us here this morning, and love to come back anytime. This was really fun. Great to meet you virtually. Please have us back.
All right, absolutely. Thank you so much, Jennifer and Mary.
Okay.
Thank you.
And watch the eclipse.
Watch the. Oh yeah, I gotta go get the glasses. Well, let's public health, Jennifer, as we talked about. Let's make sure you're not peeking and doing all those little home remedies. No, go get the proper glasses, because we don't want you to, do anything to your retinas and all that good stuff. So thank you for that public health reminder, Mary and Jennifer as well. Mary, thank you.
Have
Jennifer,
a good one.
Have a great day.
Both of you. Thank you. Listen, everyone. This was a very, I think, good. Right, I forgot to mention you, Reverend Laura Everett, who is another one that goes out and actually writes about and commentates comments about sports. So listen. I know that White Stadium is a hot button issue. Blue Hill Ave and all that, the transportation congestion and whatnot. And there's those that are for it, and then there's those that are not for it. And then there are those in the middle and willing to do some compromise. And so, as Russell Holmes said in that press conference, keep asking the hard questions, keep making suggestions, keep pushing for what it will take. And there is this notion of no. I don't know if the no is going to pan through, but if it doesn't, then get all that the community needs and can get while this process is going on. To me, it sounds like it is happening. And so how do we make sure that the economic impact is intentional and there in a dollar amount, big dollars, 7, 8 figures. And I was going to say 7, 14. Well, 14, 8 figures. You know what I mean? Multiple millions. And also another thing that came up in the meeting and a lot, and I know, there's a piece about football and use of BPS. The diagram that we saw, the color that represented NWSL on the calendar that was presented to us by the City of Boston's Facilities and Operations Department was very minimal. BPS was across it. And then y'all remember last week, we had the City of Boston's cross-country Coach, brother, oh shoot. When the mayor was on, the brother that was on with the mayor, and remember I got knocked off and they took over the show. That guy. All right, I'm getting off of here. Tomorrow morning. Hold on. I'm tired. Tomorrow morning. Elect. I forgot. I forgot to turn it down. All right. Tomorrow morning at 9 a.m., we are chatting with. Hold on. It's coming. It's coming. Who am I chatting with tomorrow? Oh, brother Colin Knight from Live Like a Local. And also, I probably don't have it right. But the Black Brood Diaries, he's doing some stuff along with myself in partnership with Long Live Roxbury and some other breweries in the Boston area. So brother Colin Knight is coming. Not messing with you, Rev. I went to church this weekend, stood in the pulpit and gave words. My niece / goddaughter, former a young person when I was a youth leader, she's a pastor now. And so Rev, I went to church this weekend. Okay. Tashad here. Thank you, Tashad. Tashad said, I'm in the middle, totally in favor of both the stadium being redone and us having a women's soccer team, but process is everything. And I do have some concerns. Absolutely. Domingo, bring on community members regarding this topic, and you will hear the truth about how folks are feeling about this. I'll bring, but it would be balanced. I'm not just going to bring on against. And so Domingo, email Anissa, get some folks together, info@javawithjimmy.com, email Anissa, and let's have a convo about it. I'm totally down, but it's well, let's just have a email Anissa and they'll work it out with you. All right. Susan says BAM's Fest, and what was the other thing? BAM's Fest, and there was another. The Puerto Rican Festival, I believe, right now would be going back to White Stadium. I think it's been down on City Hall last couple of Playstead Field. I think that's what, Lord have mercy. I think that's what it's called. All right. Susan says BAMs will remain and facilities will be so much better. Okay. Gail. Hi, Gail. So when y'all talk about media moguls and you know, I'm out here doing stuff now, but you got folks in comms that have been trailblazing and doing stuff for years. Gail, it is an honor to have you in the room to be in the Java Cafe this morning. It is so good. I know I owe you a mug too, don't I? It's good to see you in the room. Auntie Paula, didn't she say this team will only use it 10% of the year? So that's 36 days during only warm months. Sounds like we will be excluded a lot. I'm just saying. And so 36 days during only warm months. So it's not warm months. I think that, I got to remember. I think Dion said that I want to say the soccer, Auntie Paula, I'm not even going to try. But when these community meetings and stuff happen, that is one thing. What you call it? I don't think it's 30. It is 36 weekends, like Friday and Saturday. I know the mayor broke it down when she was on. So go back to that episode. And when these meetings get ready to happen, I'm glad we're having this exchange in here. But when the meetings happen, and they're going to be in person, and they're going to be the ones that the NWSL Boston is doing is going to be hybrid. So they'll be in. Let me say something about these meetings. Now, I understand that there was something, some interesting person went to the last meeting. It was very interesting, got it off topic. And then there's the same person that wound up at City Hall biting two security officers. And so let's just be very attentive when we're in these meetings because I had that thought when I heard about that people come into these meetings and stuff with different agendas, knowing a bunch of us are going to be gathered. And so Domingo and others that are in there for the issue Also keep them eyes open. There's a scripture in the Bible in Nehemiah where they talked about they had a tool and they had a weapon. Tool in one hand, building. I felt that. And a weapon in the other. Go to the meetings and get all of the information. They'll come back here. And Domingo, when you email Anissa, email some questions as well, and I'll send them over to the folks that set this up. So, all right, I'm tired. I'm going to take that nap. So Susan said the calendar is online for everyone to see. All right, so there that is right there. Gail, who's a part of it, who Jennifer mentioned, said the team will use the facility only 20 days per year, and the rest will be used by BPS and the community. So 20 days per year. Obi says protect the community at all cost. Anthony, I'm sorry, Pops says preach. And Sharon Cornelius. Good to see you in the room, mother. All right, y'all, that's it for me. Tomorrow morning, we're talking with Colin. Miss Teresa, you know what? I'm going to put it on a commercial. Miss Teresa told me to eat and drink. I'm about to show y'all something. We're going to take a quick little break, and we'll be right back with you.
For the innovators, the dreamers, the risk takers, independent workers who keep our neighborhoods thriving, Connector Care from the Massachusetts Health Connector has plans for every lifestyle and budget.
Having access to affordable healthcare is for everyone in our community.
Connector Care plans help more people save on healthcare that covers all their needs. Find out if you qualify for Connector Care. Visit mahealthconnector.org or call 1-877-MA-ENROLL.
So, Miss Teresa, and for all of you, I am being intentional about eating and drinking and being more healthy and less soda and all that other stuff. If you can't tell, I'm making strawberry, lemon, spa water. Rushing over to that refrigerator wore me out. All right, I'm getting off of here, everybody. UCB, y'all get an hour today. Y'all ain't keeping me on the other 8 minutes. And speaking of UCB and more time, there go Mama Java right there. Wow. A few of you have, maybe that's why I'm a little winded. A few of you rather have reached out, me making reference to bruised ribs. I'm doing good, doing a lot better. Made it through with taking no meds, made it through without going to the doctor. So yes. Also, Pops is in the room. Everybody, Pops is doing well. If y'all follow him, Pops has been on social media documenting everything and just his testimony. And so, Pops, it's good to see you and knowing that you're going to come out even better. And taking care of yourself. So, I Miss Teresa, I can't. I'm old school. It has to be the mason jar. I don't know what it is. It's yeah. I can't do plastic either, but the tumbler I might pour it in the drink, but making it, it's definitely the mason jar. All right, I'm off of here. Everybody have a good day. We'll see you tomorrow with Colin from Live Like a Local tours and also his work around getting folks to appreciate and diversify their palates when it comes to IPAs and different type of brewed beers. Anthony said he's coming home this Thursday. If it wasn't for shame, I'd find me a little Brandon, pastors. Jesus is good. That's my confirmation. Let me go find this video real quick. Pops is coming home, y'all, on Thursday. And so we're going to leave. Where is it? We're going to leave the Java Cafe today with a praise break. All right. In honor of Pops, y'all send strength to Anthony, also Mother Davis as well, and Aaron. We're going to leave with a praise break today to celebrate Pops' progress and him coming home on Thursday. So as soon as I can find it, we'll put it up. I think this was some resurrection. Hold on. If I don't find it in 2 seconds, y'all. If you can't say a word, you can just wave your hand. And that's still a praise break. We don't need no music. cover me because I can't find it. All right. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It was during Resurrection. It was Brother Shay out of Baltimore around Resurrection Sunday. And when I tell you it is funny, but it gets the point across. All right. Y'all just wave your hands and say thank you. We're out of here. Have a wonderful day, everybody. We'll see you guys tomorrow at 9 a.m. as we talk with Colin. Have a great day and talk to everybody very, very soon. Peace.